What is cracking, ladies and gentlemen? Gals and goons all over this great planet. Wow. Yeah, man. Indeed, it is Friday night. I'm glad that you guys could join me. Going to be joined by my good friend. I've known this girl for quite some time. She is absolutely amazing. She's a beautiful girl on the inside and out. We're going to learn a lot from this lady tonight. She's got some amazing download information coming at us right now. And we're going to talk to her. We're going to talk to her about her journey. We're going to talk to her about her experiences. You name it. Shout out to her husband, Robert. My brother from another mother. This is the journey of a medical empath. The personal story, shared journey of stepping into the position of that medical empath. We're also going to cover tonight, like I said, the downloaded information. We all receive downloads of information. This young lady's got quite some information on food, herbs, vitamins, all of these great things that we need, right? So we're wondering what the hell is coming in this massive solar flare, M1, blah, 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 blah. Well, she's going to tell you. We're going to talk all about it. Don't go anywhere, brainiacs. Share this broadcast. Share this podcast. We'll catch you on the other side with my good friend, Michelle Sanders. Share this broadcast!
What do you say, brainiacs? You guys ready? It's time. It's showtime, brains. That's right. It's Matrix time. And it's go time. Welcome aboard, everybody. Let's go. We're going to talk about ufology, conspiracy, controversy, and anything and everything that we can get into tonight.
Come on, Mr. Andy Cassidy. All you old timers out there, crank that shit up and rip off the dial, baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Get up, brainiacs! Yeah! It's definitely your show. Your show, and we appreciate you for being here. Buckle up, everybody. Welcome aboard.
Braisters! Go over to the Brainiac chat right real quick. See you all in the hat. Andy Cassidy says, crank up the music. What's up, Mr. James Roundtree? Michelle Espinosa. She's grounded. She's working tonight. She is. Let's go off and on to the other side here. Miss Michelle Sanders, can you hear me? Say hello.
Yes, hello everybody.
She said hello, Claudia.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh man, you're more than welcome. I'm glad to have you back. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I had you here.
Yes, I've got a lot more to add to the interesting story unfolding. You know.
Yeah, I have. The pictures you sent me. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna share my screen because again, you're part of my tribe. These guys are all part of my tribe. So I want them to be able to just find you, right? I want them to find you. So what I'm going to do is versus just show the images that you sent me on this slide, right? I'm going to go ahead and just share your entire profile, incoming tribe, and
Okay.
and
Sure.
and we'll just go over the images that you sent me in the messenger because if you notice, I bumped them. That way you can like
Yeah.
I can show you what we're looking, tell you what we're looking at, blah blah blah. And let's just go from there. So what has been happening to you over the last 6 months to 8 months? Let's just talk for
Oh,
a second about
wow.
updates.
Okay. So back in May, I had to have a procedure done. 13 years ago, I had my gallbladder removed. And I had this horrible pain in my abdomen back in May, and I had to be admitted into the hospital. And I had liver stones. And so I was in the hospital for a week. And oh man, it was bad. Do what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I'm not talking. You got the mic. You got the talking stick.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's
So
okay.
yeah, I was at the hospital and found out that I had these stones. So spent a lot of time in bed, trying to heal. And a lot of information has come through since then, as well as some interesting revelations from stories from long ago in my family lineage. And the discovery of this gene called the MTHFR gene that my sister, I have a sister, was given up for adoption. She lives in Kansas. She was diagnosed with this gene a few years ago and has been battling health issues with it. And so through all these very interesting synchronicities and stories that have occurred throughout my life, I've discovered some of the cures or foods that you can eat, vitamins and such. So very, very interesting parallels there.
Was this downloaded? Do you think was this downloaded stuff, or was this like
Most
your body just saying
most
no downloads?
most definitely. They've happened throughout my life and just unaware, and also through dreams. So I've been a dream interpreter since I was about 16. I'm 44, and on previous shows that I've been on, I've told a lot of my paranormal experiences. That's probably good to start off with what's occurring now. I'm just going to go over what happened to me in 2019. So December 12th, 2019, there was a full moon. And I saw a post talking about this full moon on 12/12 at 12:12 a.m. And I'd had an experience in 1999 during the winter solstice with a full moon, and it had this huge ring around it. So 20 years later, I have another experience. Okay, and so I went outside that night. And I was taking pictures of the moon. There was this huge halo around the moon, and took a few pictures. And I decided to, stop and look at these photos. And I noticed what I thought was, I didn't know if it was a ball of light. I didn't know if it was a star. I don't know what it was. I noticed something in the photos, and it was spiraling downward. It was moving in the photos. Its location. So at the moment I realized this, I look up and there's an orb of light about 20 feet away from me. And I experience telepathic communication. I hear in my head, Dendera Codex transmission. You are Orifim from the Emerald Order of Melchizedek.
Oh,
and this blew my mind. It freaked me out a bit.
Right.
So I went inside and I decided to look this up. I had heard some of the terms before. And I see this temple in Egypt and all these hieroglyphs, 'on, on the wall, and there's an image of what looks like a woman with is either the sun or the moon, and rays going into her head. And I knew that something like this had happened to me. Okay. So the following day, I wake up, and I wake up to hundreds of friend requests overnight and messages from all over the world from people talking about being star seeds and indigos. And at the time, I was a big truther. I was very political. I only had a few hundred friends on my page. I knew most of the people. And I see this message from this guy claiming to be Michael Germain, or that was his name, his profile name. And he sent me a message, and he said that I had in my sleep went to him. I do not recall this at all.
Does Robert know about this bullshit?
Oh yeah, I told him all about it. Like, he was sitting there because, we had woke up and my phone was just going off. Just so many messages coming in. And so, this guy says, we don't know each other. You came to me in your sleep. He said, he claimed that there was something wrong with my light body or something like that. And a part of me was, skeptical. The other part of me was like, I've got to find out what's going on here. This is strange. This doesn't happen every day.
He
said he was an energy distance healer.
Do you think this was this obviously was not a body experience? This was astral. This had to have been astral. But what you
he said he claims that I visited him. Yeah.
All right, what you just said literally just verifies astral projection is real. You had some fella from
for sure.
Right? I mean, I'm kind of going through that shit right now. This very week. I'm trying. There's two really good friends of ours in the tribe that are really down right now. That's pretty much taking a beating. And I'm like, well, I sleep 2 and 3 hours at a time. I can project over there. I can see, I can create this scenario in my head and figure out what's going on. So yeah, man, astral projection is real. That's what I'm saying. You're literally validating what I do. It's for real. Yeah. So keep going.
Well,
this is good
it's
shit.
Definitely a real thing. And what was crazy, I had no memory of this, but this man claimed I came to him and that he was this he actually by trade is an energy distance healer, does it for a living, and he charges a lot of money to assist people, right?
He's a remote healer.
I
later
on went to his page. Yeah, I went to his page to check him out, and I had never seen him. We were not friends. But he claimed that I was, he was talking about Archangel Michael. He claimed that I was part of the 144,000 army here and that something big was about to happen. This is before the shutdown, okay, a few months beforehand. And so I've had experiences throughout my whole life, going back to childhood, paranormal experiences with my deceased grandmother, telling my sister to prepare me for the time we're in now. So, it kind of stuck out to me like, there's something to this. Well, the guy asked me to call him. Okay. And so, I asked my husband, like, what do you think? Should I call him? He's like, yeah, I should probably call the guy. So, I had my phone plugged in, and I remember very vividly my phone was at 57%. Because the number 57 and 75 has shown up a lot throughout my life, certain synchronicities. But this kind of just stuck out to me. Anyway, I called the guy, and he had an accent. It wasn't American. And the moment we started talking, I felt this energy. And this ball of light flew out of the phone into my face. About the size of a cantaloupe. It was white, and it had gold sparks. And my phone, while plugged in, drained to zero.
What?
And my husband witnessed this. And we were just like, what the hell was that, you know?
Right.
And I've had experiences with orbs. I had my first experience that I can recall happened when around the age of puberty. I was like 11 or 12 years old. I had an experience with a ball of light that was going around my home. So very interesting. I get the phone turned back on. I called the guy, and I was like, what was that? And he claimed that dark forces were trying to interrupt us from speaking, but something inside of me was like, I don't know about that one, you know? And he was like, well, I need you to put do you have any white clothing and light colored clothing? I said, not really. I wear black, lots of black. And he was like, well, there's a reason you wear your black. It's because you're an empath and you're protecting your auric field. And I was like, oh, okay. So he asked me to go to a private place in my home, and he was going to assist me. He said he was going to do angelic cosmic surgery on me. And I was skeptical yet open-minded, you know.
Libby, you know what?
So I went upstairs.
As you're saying that, don't leave, Larry. I don't want Larry Hawkins to leave the chat yet, because there's something. Now, it's not my job. It's not my job or your job to convince anybody of anything. But I want to try to find something as you're talking.
Okay.
Hang on.
Was there something happening in the chat? No.
Yeah, Larry's about to bail on
My
it.
father's name is Larry.
And I want him to see something. I want everybody to see something prior to Larry leaving, or just prior, because if anybody knows of a man by the name of Greg Braden, Braden, Greg Braden.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, there is I want to try to share this as you're talking, because what you're saying about the healing part is absolutely phenomenal. Put it this way. There was a healing center in Beijing, China. Now, remember, we're in the West, okay? We are literally in the West, and we don't believe in this shit. We were told witchcraft is like it's all fake. Healing is fake. I got a dude up in the chat right now. His name's Wayne Stewart. This man has got powers over the what do you call it? The weather. Okay, this is just shit you can't make up. I'm just being serious. So I want to, as you're talking, I want to bring up this. Where Greg Braden is in Beijing, China, and they literally show the healing of a lady's like pancreatic cancer or some shit, maybe colon cancer, bladder. But you're watching it live on video where the healers are gathered around this woman, remote healing going on outside, right? And they're just over and over, just and they're praying, right? And what Greg says is they're creating the environment in their world, in their reality, as if the healing has already taken place. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not we're waiting on something. It's not that we're going to have to participate later. No, they're manifesting this shit like right now. So you guys hang tight. Listen to her story, because I'm going to find that video, and you will absolutely, your jaw will drop. So
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's miraculous. It's beautiful video. Yeah. So that guy tells me to go upstairs in my house. I put on a purple robe because I didn't have anything white. I'm an old school goth punk rock girl, you know. So a lot of my stuff's pretty dark. But yeah, so I put this gown on, and I sat down, and he told me to sit in the lotus position and to close my eyes, and he started speaking. At the time, I didn't know what it was. I'm assuming it was some form of light language. And As my eyes were closed, I saw a brilliant blue butterfly, and gleaming on the edges of it was magenta light, so infrared and ultraviolet light. I immediately thought of MK Ultra because of research. I've been a truther for decades, you know,
Right.
and the butterflies. I said, "What the hell is that?" And he said, "I'm going to perform angelic cosmic surgery on you." And I felt a pressure down in my nether regions,
Right.
and I was like, "Whoa," you know. And he goes, "Calm down, calm down." He's like, "What's wrong with your left ovary?"
Oh shit.
And I said, "Oh," I said, "Well, when I was 14, I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, and my ovary was like 4 or 5 times the size of the other." And he goes, "You have that?" He goes, "But it wasn't natural. They gave it to you." And I was like, "They?"
Wait,
He
what?
goes, "Yeah, they."
They gave you ovarian cancer?
Well, he said, "There's a chip." He said, "I'm going to dismantle it." And all of a sudden, I felt this warm, burning, like, sensation in my ovary.
Oh my
And
god.
I come from a military family. Yeah, I come from a military family.
Right.
My husband is a disabled veteran. He fought in Iraq. We both have rare blood. And my grandfather, whom I never met, was in the military, and there's a long story about him. But yeah, so I felt this warmth in my ovary, and then that stopped. And he goes, "Okay, what's going on with your back?" I said, "Oh, my back." I said, "I've had lower back pain for many years. Been in pain management for almost 20 years because of it." And he goes, "No, the lower back, the back right, the bottom right." I said, "Oh, 2017, I had a golf ball sized mass appear on my back." And the doctor said there's nothing we could do about it. Interesting with the Greg Braden story that you bring up, because, you know, this just appeared on my back.
Hey, I'm trying to find
And
it. I think they
it's
killed
interesting
it.
how it was.
I think they removed that video.
It's somewhere.
I,
It's somewhere for sure.
um, they killed. Well, here's the thing, though. They killed the. They removed the hospital in Beijing. They closed that hospital down.
Oh, wow.
But yes, keep going. Very
It's
interesting
definitely
stories.
something. So yeah, I had this mass appear on my back, and was going through quite a bit, like a health journey. Like at one point, I weighed almost 400 pounds. I've battled weight issues since I was about 6 or 7, and so I lost 150 pounds around that time, and then this mass appeared on my back. What's interesting, I had a Man in Black experience occur around that time, and my grandfather, he was ex-CIA or whatever, he passed away around that time. So I had a paranormal experience involving, like, what do they call him, Hat Man or whatever,
The Hat Man.
around that time. And he looked, you know, a man in black. So, but yeah, he said, "Okay, they put 2 in you. I'm going to dismantle them." And I felt this warmth in my back, and for like a week I was sore, you know. And then he told me that he was like, "There's one more," and he's like, "Brace yourself." He's talking about a gland in my brain. Now my sister, she had a tumor on this gland many years ago that we found out about. So I thought it was very interesting. So next thing I know, I start seeing these just brilliant colors, amazing colors. And that was that, you know. He then told me he wanted me to take a bath. He wanted my husband to scrub me with salt, say a prayer of protection.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that point, a lot of things began for me. I just had all these paranormal experiences, which I've on the other shows we've had, I've talked about. So it's important to note that experience before I tell you what I've uncovered recently.
Okay. And I found that
Any
video,
questions
by the
about
way.
that?
I do. Well,
Awesome.
I found that video that I'm talking about. And again, I don't know if Larry bailed on us or not, but I gotta say, Miss Rebel Rhea came in here and she dropped a comment. Bless her heart. Hello. By the way, she donated $50 to the broadcast. I love her for that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, we are struggling our asses off. I'm just saying. I'm done to the point where I'm not paying the show's expenses anymore. It can handle itself or it will sink. She says cancer is.
Well, that was really nice of her.
Oh my God, I love her. I love her to death for that. And she and Andrea, oh God, I don't, dude. You guys know this anyway. I'm a little emotional mess anyway. But the battle axe, this amazing pewter battle axe I've got on my neck was handmade by Andrea. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I love it. I absolutely just love it. I can feel. It just makes me, yeah. I mean, bring it on, bitches. That's what it makes me feel like, right? But Rebel says she says something really really unique in the chat. She says cancer is not natural, nor is heart disease, kidney disease, and so on and so on. We're living in a sickness. She's like, they're also never inherited. This is the thing. This go with what she just said chimes into everything that we've been fucking saying. Okay? There's something very nefarious on this planet that they're trying to eliminate, stagnate, the love, the purity. You mentioned about COVID-19 and trying to keep the 6-foot distance because we all radiate love and light from our own core. Do you remember talking to me about that? You and I were talking about that.
Reason for the 6-foot rule.
There you go. I mean, you know, we are a social creature, and we are a very loving creature. It's not until we get this dialogue and this analogy put in our heads that it's okay to kill one another. It's okay to, like, at a very, very young age, man. We were watching these kids grow up on video games that they'll just like point blank shoot a baby in the face. These are video games. But however, it's conditioning. It is conditioning our kids. It's conditioning our society. We were not ever meant to fucking be like this. I'm just telling you. I know that my heart sings because we're supposed to be just a loving humanity. We're not supposed to be beating, killing, torturing one another like this. It's really sad. Sorry, I gotta stop. I'm getting upset. I'm like, I'm going to. Shit.
I hear you.
It's just it's the passion,
like,
man. Damn it.
Well, that's what I love about you. And you're Pleiadian, you know? You're my Pleiadian brother. And I love you so much.
Let's get back to the battle warrior thing here. Okay, as I shed a tear, this is bullshit.
War.
This is war. We are definitely in war right now.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Where were we even at? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail you.
We were talking about Greg Braden's video.
I gotta
the healing session.
Let me share this real quick because I don't want anybody to leave. Autism was never a thing until childhood. I gotta say, childhood VA excesses. Mike, you again. Wake the fuck up, everybody! Look at what he just said. I'm telling you, this is absolutely true. Okay. Because we are all being fucking brutalized at a level that is far beyond the physicalness. There are people fighting these battles on an astral, etherical level. And having you in my fucking turf, I'm telling you right now, Mr. Wayne Stewart just said he's got to contact you. I without a doubt, I've got a really good girl. I got a really good girl that is your way, just not too far from you, over in Kansas. By all means, man, if you can help them, I'm telling you right now, that would be a blessing to me. Truly, but
Yeah.
all right, let me go to this. Let me bite my bottom lip. I'm gonna shoot over to this Greg Braden video real quick because again, it is absolutely amazing to see something like this and or witness it firsthand. So believe it.
Yeah.
I guess I can say believe it or don't believe it. However, I didn't doctor the video, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't truly believe that there are those in the video that's doctoring the video. It just says simply it is what it is. So here's Greg Braden. He talks about the quantum healing and the mindfulness of being loving one another, caring for one another. It's a fucking amazing. It is absolutely amazing. What you guys are about to see is truly amazing. Now, mind you, again, they shut this hospital down that you're going to watch this take place in. Don't go nowhere. Hang tight. Michelle, you'll be able to hear this, by the way.
Of academics, and this is something that's very real that we can apply in our lives.
Here we go.
I had the opportunity during that time to see some video footage of the healing of a 3-inch diameter bladder cancer inside the body of a woman who, by Western medical standards, had been diagnosed inoperable. She had gone, as a last resort, to a medicineless hospital in Beijing, China. It was in this medicineless hospital where they began simply by addressing the life-affirming ways that she could change how she was living her life. They taught her life-affirming ways to breathe and life-affirming ways to nourish her body, gentle movements to stimulate the energy centers in her body. And as she was doing these and strengthening her body, at one point it made sense to undergo a process. Now I'd like to share this. I'd like to describe it to you as a very potent example of how the feeling world inside of our bodies has a direct effect, in this case a very graphic effect, on the world beyond our bodies. So in the video documentation, the film shows a woman lying on in a hospital room. She's fully awake, she's fully conscious, she believes in the process that's about to happen. Before her, there is an ultrasound technician who is running an ultrasound wand over her lower abdomen that we can see on a split screen television. And on the left-hand side of the screen, they do a snapshot, a freeze frame of an instant in time for reference, so we can see what her condition looked like in that instant in time. On the right-hand side of the screen, we are able to watch real time as 3 practitioners stand behind her, working with the energy in her body and with the feelings in their bodies. And what they do is they begin to chant a word that to them, they've agreed upon, that reinforces the feeling within them that she's already healed. The chant essentially says, already healed, already done. And as they begin to have this feeling and to say these words among themselves, on the computer screen, on the television screen, we can watch in real time this cancerous tumor as it disappears in less than 3 minutes real time. It's not like time lapse on a documentary where you see a rose unfold in 30 seconds and something that normally takes days. This literally happens in less than 3 minutes. Her body responded to the feelings of the practitioners who were trained to have the kinds of feelings that they were having. And all they were feeling was the feeling of what it feels like to be in the presence of a woman who is already healed, fully enabled.
I said, there you go. That is what I'm talking about, Michelle. Did you heard it, right?
So beautiful, right?
Dude,
Oh yes, I've seen it.
It brings me to tears. I shared the video up in the brain chat here to know that these things are right before our faces. Completely, again, I personally believe we got a dude up in the chat, Andy Cassidy. I don't know if Michelle, if you know his story, but this is.
I know Andy. I've seen him in the chat, but I don't know his story.
After we're done talking to you, we need Andy Cassidy. Or I would love to get Andy Cassidy to call you Because when
Okay.
again, when we call him Grandpa, Papa. When Papa first called this broadcast some 3 years ago, Michelle, he was sick. He was very sick. And between love, between everybody praying for him, taking care, giving him positive affirmations, I truly feel that a lot of it had to do with the broadcast and all of these amazing people in my unit. To bring him into that unit, I am very, very humbled that till this day he's okay. Now this man has got one lung, and he was diagnosed with like stage 4 prostate cancer or stage 4 liver cancer 3 years ago.
Wow.
So by the grace of the Matrix, his old ass is still kicking, and I'm grateful for that. Tammy Bomb says it's all of his brownies that he eats. You know what? I want him to call later and talk to you. But I'm getting this.
Okay.
This subject is amazing to me, and to be a medical empath, intuitive, and to know what you do, and everybody else does. I'm telling you, man, amazing shit.
It's just for me how my gift it's shown itself over the last few years. I've watched it grow. It's something that I think I've had my whole life, but just was unaware of. There's a language as well that I've learned, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So.
Well, here, have you ever watched any? This is to anybody. If you have watched any of the Doctor Strange movies, have you seen any of them yet?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
He's the guy in X-Men, right?
Yeah. Let me share something with you.
Yeah.
Because this right here, right? This is literally 4 minutes and 5 seconds, and I gotta share this one too, because this is literally just making me. Now, mind you, the astral plane is not for. Gotta say this, not for weak asses. Okay. However,
Yeah.
I want you to know that you are more than your body. Okay. Now, me and Rebel, before Rebel, I think, left the chat, I walked her through a little exercise today, and she got a confirmation. She's a brilliant soul too, a lovely lady. And I walked her through a little exercise where she became cognitively aware, consciously aware of her soul self. And that is bouncing it from ear to ear, around your head, around your body, ear to ear, shutting it. And to become aware of these things, okay, is amazing. Because it'll open up the possibility and it will validate in your own mind, you can take my life, but you ain't going to take my light. That's so powerful. You can mess with me and you can destroy me all you want, but I'll be damned if you're going to kill me. You can't kill me. You know what I'm saying?
Instantly repair and rebuke even.
No,
people aren't aware of their abilities to rebuke, yeah.
I got to get myself up in here, and I don't mean to do this, but I'm going to have to throw myself up in here so they don't. What the hell am I doing? Right there. There we go. Because if I don't run commentary on this little video, again, the video you're about to watch takes astral projection to the true meaning. Now, mind you, in this movie, Doctor Strange, he did not believe, did not understand, didn't believe any of the shit that me and Michelle's talking about. None of the shit that we talk about here on The Matrix. So I'm telling you, if you are completely new to this broadcast, sit back, buckle up with an open mind, because I'm telling you, your life will change. You've got to believe in your own self. Check this out.
You're a man looking at the world through a keyhole, and you've spent your whole life trying to widen that keyhole, to see more, to know more. And now, on hearing that it can be widened in ways you can't imagine, you reject the possibility.
No, I reject it because I do not believe in fairy tales about...
Ah, did you hear that key word? I do not believe in fairy tales. It's just a fairy tale, Michelle. Now, mind you, this is a broken man. This guy right here, okay, as Doctor Strange goes to the sorcerer, right? He was in a car accident and was dude, he was in traction. If you guys have never seen this movie, I telling you, please watch the movie. Okay? Because they will show you in plain sight the abilities that you have. Okay? Listen clearly.
Because I do not believe in fairy tales about chakras or energy or the power of belief. There is no such thing as spirit.
Ouch.
We are made of matter and nothing more. You're just another tiny, momentary speck within an indifferent universe.
You think too little of yourself.
Oh, you think you see through me, do you? Well, you don't. But I see through you.
Gonna stop it right there. I don't want to get us kicked off of here for copyright, but I'm gonna tell you right there. You see that little auric field?
That scene.
Yeah. You see that body come out of the body. Now I'm gonna tell you something else, right? Mr. Wayne Stewart, who's also up in this chat, he'll tell you there is life after life. The other chick down here is coming up in the chat, Miss Michelle Espinosa. Okay, she's another one. I caught her ass on the astroplane. She's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "What are you doing here? This is no shit." Okay, she's like, "Are you dead?" She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fucking fine. I'm high. I was high. I was higher than a kite." And she says, "Are you sure you're not dead?" I'm like, "Michelle, shut up. What are you doing here?" She says, "Well," she's like, "This is where I help people cross over." And I'm like, "Oh, well, this is where I come to destroy shit." No, not joking at all. What I'm telling you is absolute. What I told her, she'll tell you this funny story, but nevertheless. So continuing on with your story, right? So you've got this tumor.
Yeah.
You're in bad fucking shape. You get these downloads, right? You get these downloads. It's like ain't keeping your ass down. So continue on with your story. Now that I've cut you off about 5 times, I don't mean to. I need to put a chew in my mouth because this is passion to me, man. I understand it.
I know. That's what I love about you. I love you so much. Great man. Okay, it's important to let everybody know. When I was born, I've had multiple near-death experiences. So, as an infant, I died and came back. And I spent the first few months of my life in the hospital, and I had what was called gastritis. And that's what made me sick. Now, I'm looking back at it. My mother bottle fed me formula. I feel it was linked to the formula from some of the things that I've learned recently. So remember that.
Right.
Also, when I was 4 years old, on a family vacation to a wedding in Memphis, Tennessee, I drowned in a Holiday Inn and almost crossed into the light. And then my father, he saved me. My father's name was Larry, by the way. You kept on bringing up the name Larry.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, shout out to you, Larry. Thank you for saving this beautiful starseed. Thank you for saving this girl.
Yes. But yeah, so that happened. And what's interesting, the time that we're in, the stellar activation cycle, we're at the age change from Pisces to Aquarius, all this stuff is going on, there's different cycles to that, the year 2000 to year 2012, but And on August 21st, 2017, began what I call a 7-year cosmic calibration period, and it's almost over. Okay, so it began with the Great American Solar Eclipse on August 21st, 2017, and it ends April 8th, 2024 with another Great American Solar Eclipse, and that's the day before my birthday, my 45th birthday.
All right.
So
nothing
happens just by chance. Everything has a reason and a purpose.
Right. I believe so.
So yeah, the last few years, all the stuff that we've been going through, what happened in 2020, it's all starting to make sense. We've all been going through this moment. Biblically, in the High Holy Days, it talks about the Day of Atonement. Well, at-one-ment. I believe this period that we've been going through, there's been something involving that with everyone. We've been shown things. So, but yeah, okay, so talking about recent stuff now that's happened. I had that surgery in May. During the summer, I noticed there was a blast on we had a solar flare. And if I recall, I think Venus was in Leo for an abnormally long amount of time during the summer. Biblically, there's been a lot of arguments about the morning star. People talk about the saying that Jesus or Yeshua is the morning star.
Right.
Some people say it's Lucifer. Historically, I think it was the Babylonians and the Greeks fought over what was the morning star. Is it the sun or was it Venus? So that's important to note here, because the sun, Leo is linked to the sun, and Venus, there you go. But Leo was in Venus for like a 5-month period. Now, astrologically, there is a link to body parts, okay? Like each zodiac sign has a body part, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I saw this blast happened on the Schumann, and people from all over, I have over 3,000 friends on my page. People that did not know each other were all talking about being in the hospital for kidney issues, kidney stones. There were so many examples. I just kept screenshotting them. And I knew that blast and that astrological alignment at time was affecting the kidneys.
Mm.
So that was interesting. Well, recently, after having this procedure, my side kept hurting. One of my friends suggested I take castor oil, which that stuff is miraculous. It's amazing. I started using that every night on my side because I was still having sensitivity and just trying to heal myself.
Right.
So I bought this kit. I bought this liver kit that just had all these different vitamins and minerals in it that you take for a week. And then I'm trying to remember exactly how it all unfolded. There's so much. There's so much information here.
It's all right. Just take your time. You got look. You got as long as you want. All right.
So okay. I do this cleanse, and I start to feel better. And I come across this homeopathic. One night I'm praying about it because I'm like, I've got to heal my side here. I know that the liver can regenerate. I know it's a healable organ. I know that this light that's coming in, I can use it to my advantage while it's here. I know, like all my instincts are telling me this. And I see this homeopathic doctor pop up on my page talking about specific vitamins that a lot of Americans have had their gallbladders removed. They're not told, how to handle it, what can be done. And she created supplements with specific stuff in them. I was like, okay. She tells me to check it out. And I look and I see a word that just blows my mind, which I'll come back to, okay?
Okay.
So back in the 70s, my grandmother, I'm O negative. My grandmother, she was O negative. In her 40s, she was a normal lady, and she was very spiritual. She was an artist. She started having mental issues. Said she could see angels and demons. Grew up in a religious household. Even though everybody around her was religious, they had problems believing that she could have these experiences with angels, right? Well, she was very thin. She had 5 children total. But in her 40s, she started having hormonal problems. So she ended up having her gallbladder removed. Now, in my family, a lot of people are O blood type. So this is very important. Back then, they didn't really know how to deal with her issues, okay? She actually got taken to a mental hospital, and they gave her liquid LSD, okay? So she came out even more sensitive, after having these experiences.
Holy hell.
And she ended up passing away in like 1983, I think. 82 or 83. Well, as a child, I used to wake up to my sister, she was 6 years older than me. I used to wake up to her sitting at the foot of my bed, talking to my grandma while, in the middle of the night. And she would tell my sister, I'd say, "Who are you talking to?" She'd be like, "I'm talking to Grandma." I'm like, "Okay." I couldn't see anybody there. But she would tell me that Grandma told her that she had to prepare me for the end of days, and that she had to read Revelations to me. It was very important that she read Revelations to me. So I always remembered that. So, okay, so fast forward. It's 2014. My sister, her husband, my daughter, and my daughter's friend go to a concert, a road trip to Texas. And they end up having to stay in a hotel on the way back. They didn't have enough time to make it back. So my sister, she had prophetic dreams as well. And so she's sleeping in the room with this kid. Now, this kid was born the day my father died, which is just a strange parallel in itself. August 7th, 2001 was the day my father died. He had a stroke. So my sister, has this dream while this kid is in the bed next to her, okay? She dreamt that her daughter and my mother were walking up a set of stairs. They get to the top of the stairs, and my daughter is standing there. And there's thousands of eggs. They're decorated, they're, painted, beautiful eggs. And my mother says to everyone, "This is for me, and this is for all of you." And my sister woke up. It was a very vivid dream. She knew it meant something, right?
Right.
So shortly after that, my mother gets diagnosed with cirrhosis.
Of the liver? Oh, shit.
And, so my sister thought about that dream, and she was like, "I need to look up what eggs, was there something about eggs here?" She finds a Japanese study that was done on eggshells. They were baking eggshells, crushing it into a powder, and drinking it with water before meals, and it was regenerating liver tissue and removing the scarring from the liver. So she suggests my mother does this. My mother did it for a short time, but she kind of gave up on it. She did what the doctors told her to do. The doctors told her to eat certain foods and stuff, and she went along with that. But my mom lived for 4 years after this, until she passed away in 2019. Now, this is the crazy part here. The chemical that is in eggs and this eggshell powder is called choline.
Did you
Choline. Why does this matter?
choline?
My grandmother's choline, Choline, choline. My aunt is named Choline. My grandma that was sick and had gallbladder issues in the 70s named her last-born child Choline.
No.
So, I was like, what's
hang
the
on.
odds of that?
Choline. Choline.
Yes,
And this is a
choline.
compound or a chemical?
It is. It's like a chemical found in eggshells and egg yolks.
All right, I'm
It's a
gonna.
nutrient.
I want to look this up real quick.
And so yeah, it's Choline, and I immediately go, wait a minute.
Right.
My grandmother was ill. People thought she was crazy. Okay, so I thought that was very interesting. Then I the homeopathic doctor that suggested these supplements. Guess what was in the supplements? Choline. It was in it, and I go, okay. So I start researching. Now, my sister that was given up for adoption, she was diagnosed with something called the MTHFR gene mutation that she's been battling the last few years. And with my gift of medical empathy, when I'm around people, I'm picking up on images of things. This has been going on for a few years. It started, my first experience that I can recall, I was at a restaurant, and a man was standing next to me, and I said, oh, my God, your blood sugars are so low. I said, it's bad. And he looked at me, and he goes, yeah, I'm diabetic. I said, yeah, I could tell. I said, you need dandelion tea really bad. I said, there's something with you need dandelion. And I started, I know that this gift I have is through sympathetic resonance is what it is. But when I'm standing next to a person, I can sense things, and they just come to me in different ways. So recently I had, I got to get back to the story about my grandma, but I was just going to tell you about an experience that I had recently. An ex-boyfriend of mine that I grew up with, I hadn't talked to in a long time. Him and I were texting recently, and I was sitting outside, and he was talking to me about his mother had had chemotherapy. All of a sudden, I hadn't eaten in hours. I start tasting black pepper in my mouth very strongly. Black pepper. Like, it reminded me of a time when I took black seed oil because it tastes like pepper. So I decided to look up, the medicinal healing properties of black seed oil, black pepper, and guess what? It helps with healing after chemotherapy.
Wow.
So this is how the stuff comes to me. It happens at certain moments, and I notice people that I'm close to or have had, a close bond with, there's something about love there, with this. That information will come through. But back to the choline thing. So I come across this. I had a paranormal experience involving a mountain. This was a few years ago. I was driving my car. There's a weird storm appeared out of nowhere. Almost got into a head-on collision with someone and flooded my car. My husband's sister lives on a mountain in southern Oklahoma. Her boyfriend at the time offered to fix our car. So he comes up with a trailer, gets our car. We go, and she said that I had, just come hang out with her for the day. So we had never been out to her house. We end up going out to this, hanging out on a mountain all day long. And so as I'm researching this, that day whenever we came back down off the mountain, I had a paranormal experience with a starseed, and I think she either lives in Australia or New Zealand, but she lives on the other side of the world, She messaged me, talking to me, about certain things, and just blew my mind. She was like, please, talk to, don't ignore me, but I know we're supposed to talk. I said, okay. We've been friends ever since. But she was talking to me about, being a starseed. Well, fast forward to this time, I started researching the MTHFR gene, which I'm picking up with a lot of people that have this, people that I know. Like I can just sense this. And I come across this center that has researches it called Red Mountain, right?
Okay.
Thought that was very strange. So I start reading about it, and again, it starts talking about choline deficiency. Now, in my family, there's a lot of very buff, very athletic individuals on my father's side. A lot of athletes, beautiful people, and then people that are overweight within the same family, eating the same food. So I find out about this specific gene, and if a person is choline deficient, and they push themselves beyond limits, they can actually gain weight.
Oh shit.
Right?
Yeah.
Or they can look like they're physically fit and everything's fine, but they still have severe pain because they're missing this very important nutrient called choline. So I have a cousin, he used to own a gym, buff dude, he's huge. But he stayed with me for a while in 2019. While he lived with me, when I would go grocery shopping, I'd ask him what he wanted, and the one thing he insisted on was that I bought him eggs. So he would eat eggs every morning, but guess what he wasn't eating? He wasn't eating the eggshell. He was eating the eggs.
Wow.
And he has a severe pain problem. It's this one little thing here, this eggshell powder, and how important it is for my family. Then I start looking into like healing herbs and teas and stuff for the liver, and guess what I come across? A berry called the Schisandra berry. My cousin's mother was named Sandra. That grandmother I spoke of, one of her other children, was named Sandra.
Oh God.
Schisandra berry.
Two.
And then my grandfather.
Coincidence?
My grandfather,
I
who was
think
married
not.
to.
Right.
So my grandma, that was duet.
I said coincidence? I
Okay.
think not.
Oh, definitely not a coincidence. It gets even more interesting with the family name. So this one's gonna blow your mind. My grandmother that I'm talking about here, my grandfather that they were married, his name was Eugene. I come
Oh, my
across a
God.
chemical called eugenol. A chemical called eugenol linked to cloves. And the healing properties of that. And I talked about bone issues, which in my family, we have bone issues. Like we don't, the illnesses that we battle on that side of the family are like digestive issues, liver issues, heart issues. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. I mean, that's the stuff that pretty much the pattern that I see going back many years. So the interesting thing about this eugenol, this oil, and what it does for bone, apparently it's miraculous. Crazy thing. My grandfather was named Eugene. My dad's middle name was Eugene. My brother-in-law's middle name is Eugene. I was engaged to a man with the middle name Eugene. And there is a famous country star named Brian White that we went to school with here in Oklahoma. My cousin, Aunt Sandra's son, Jake, his name was Jacob Eugene. Brian White wrote a song about my cousin called Eugene Eugenius. I come across information about the U haplogroup, something linked to that within the family. So there's something very important about this eugenol, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that the language of the Holy Spirit, it has been written by us for thousands of years, and there's a code, and it can be easily deciphered. You use the Hegelian dialectic. I use the Hegelian dialectic in order to interpret, and it'll blow your mind what comes out. Amazing stuff, right?
Yeah. Shaman Espinosa said,
Oh, my.
in relation to your
Sorry, go
your
ahead.
story, She says, "Ain't that some shit? How that they'll give us the answers that we need, like, and they're like right in front of us." You know, she's like, but in the strangest ways they come and they give those answers. And ding, ding, ding. That's when we get it. Oh yeah, you're the interesting story.
Oh yeah. I also have one other name in the family. My Aunt Vera. I had an Aunt Vera, my great Aunt Vera. She was Pentecostal. You know, she wore the big buns in her hair and the dresses, and there was something about alcohol in the genetic record, and something I've learned. Whether a person drinks alcohol or not, there's something about it being our ancestors. Did they consume it, and how that affects our genes? There are many people that come from drinkers that don't drink. Okay?
Right.
But they need this chemical called resveratrol. Vera was in it. I had all these interesting experiences linked to Vera, and also aloe vera as well. Aloe vera juice as something that can be used to heal. So yeah, these names in my family have helped me to discover healing herbs and things that will cure my family's ailments, linked to this particular gene called the MTHFR gene.
Wow, dude, this is like just how. Oh
Right?
man, yeah,
Pretty
dude.
cool. It's pretty cool.
This is like, you can't make this shit up, man.
No.
Good night, Mr. Wayne. By the way,
it's like,
Wayne Stewart. Good night, buddy. Yeah, man. Oh my God. Now this is your birth name, Michelle. This is. I mean, how is this stuff finding you, or how is it like? Just I don't know.
There's something to do with my blood type. Okay, so
Okay.
it's important to understand how the 144,000 frequency works, and it's a symphony. Okay. During certain astrological events, there's waves of information coming in.
Okay.
And what I've been shown is each blood type is like a note, okay? So, and this will explain a lot of what happened in 2020. So, based on certain genetic codes and metagenes, what they talk about in the Bible, what makes a person a true Hebrew, okay? You've got what's called the CCR5 Delta 32 gene, and that's more of like the European descent or lighter skinned individuals of the remnant race hidden amongst humanity. And then you have you have Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jew is what you would call it. Okay, so the Sephardic would be the darker skin or melanated. They would be carriers of what's called the Bantu Phoenix gene. And these genes have to do with how we absorb information, transmute it, and transmit it. So, depending on the location of the, overall, the world population, from what we know many years back, there's about 4% total of the world population is Rh negative. There's higher concentrations of Rh negative population in the United States, Australia, Britain, of 15% of the population. So there's more of us in those locations.
Okay.
But if you were to take the world entire, about 4%. So the individuals, or the remnants that carry these genes, all right, are within the Rh negative community. Then you have the recessives. Who are they? Those are the Rh positives, who are negative recessive carriers. They're able to breed with an Rh negative. Okay, that's about 30% of the population. So what you have here is the group of individuals where the 144,000 and the elect come from. So this information, what happened during the stellar activation cycle and this cycle that we've been through, The galactic core is where God would reside. Some could theorize. The trans-dimensional gates open during these astrological events, and information is sent from the galactic core through our sun, okay, and it's drawn to the core of the Earth. This would go through to other planets as well, right?
Okay.
But this information, they call it, a scalar fire code. It looks like Hebrew or runes. I have many pictures of this code in the auric field of individuals who are Rh negative or recessive. And this code is transmitted aurically. So again, that's why they wanted to do the whole 6-foot rule and keep people away from each other. But it activates our DNA and brings our gifts online and all types of stuff. So that's what's been happening for the last few years. When a person, say me, I'm O negative, everybody can have O negative blood, right? But I can only have my blood. I can't have anybody else's blood.
Right.
So it's each blood type is a note, and when you're pinging information off of each other. What's interesting, I remember like a study, I think it was MUFON, was talking about the most abducted blood types by the government, and it just so happened to be O negative and O positive. There's something about the O blood type bouncing off of each other and the information that comes through with that. Very important.
Can I ask?
So essentially,
Can I ask you something real quick?
Sorry, go ahead.
In response to a
Yeah.
comment that Miss Barbara Borchers dropped in the chat. She says, I've been hearing strange sounds in my left ear in the morning, like maybe a signal trying to connect. It's weird. And she's like, it started last week. What do you, tinnitus? Have you seen an increase in tinnitus?
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, my understanding is the left is incoming the side of the body and right is outgoing. So she must be receiving some type of incoming transmission of some kind to activate something in her body, a download of some form. Yeah.
In the morning, I'd pay it. You know what, Barbara? If I were you, just hear me out. If I were you, I would ask. Whenever you in the morning, if you hear them, ask prior to you even cracking your eyes. You know, that's what I would do. I would try to ask what the hell it is, and
Look at the time.
And look at the time. Yeah.
Note the time. Yeah. Look up the angel number for that time. Look at the time and see if does that number mean something to her. I look up angel numbers. I look up people's names that I have experiences with, especially things that stick out or that don't make sense. I'll look up the meaning of a person's name. You know, a lot of the stuff I use to interpret, I use birthdays, I use, a lot of different things to figure out the information coming through. But the name of the people that you're speaking to, again, I think I talked to you about fire-breathing dragons once, and what that could mean. Like, our voices activate DNA, right? Certain people have, stronger activation abilities, but, fire-breathing dragons, get it? It's code that we're speaking and that the DNA responds to. And so these symbols that we see, like the dragons specifically, a lot of people have, links to the dragons, it has to do with that.
These guys are hearing voices and noises in their heads or in their ears. Little Lisa says that she heard, if I go back up, she says, I've been hearing muffled voices in one ear and then fluttering from one to the other.
Like actual words, telepathically?
Probably like a muffled. She's like, it's muffled. Muffled, meaning you can't really tell what they're saying, right? She's like, this has been going on, like, especially for the last 3 months. Now, I got to point out with what she said, timing wise, last 3 months, we have been having some absolute off the chain mega flares come off the central sun. And if anybody thinks that shit can happen and not affect the human body, they're out of their mind. Okay, you are a magnetic being. You are a water bearing being. So anything that goes on with our central sun, you're gonna feel it. Some way or another, your body's gonna react to it. Barbara says, I'm aware that we're supposed to be receiving downloads now, she says. On that note, on what she just said, I'm aware that we're supposed to be receiving downloads, right? Let me ask you, Michelle, with what Barbara just said, whenever you are receiving these cosmic light codes, right? There's been times when I've read a lot of the brainiacs like stuff that they post, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm not feeling that. I feel left out and shit. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like the universe has totally skipped me on an upgrade, or I don't know. I'm just not supposed to get it or something. I mean, how does that shit remotely work? Out of curiosity, I'm being honest. I'm asking this sincerely.
Part of it is the gene codes, and blood type, but it's also partly based on a person's astrological chart. So the way that we would feel things throughout this 7-year period that we've been in, that's almost over, it would come at different times in different ways. But you'll see a lot of people at the same time experience similar things. And I think it's something that we're all taking part of. It would be based on those factors. It would be based on blood type, age, hormones. When I was told I was an Orifim, I looked into that and I found the Ascension glossary, and I've read throughout the majority of the Ascension glossary. And Orifim are angelic humans, or carriers of angelic DNA. And it said that there were activation ages for Orifim. The ages of 7, 11, 22, 33 is the priestly age, and then 40 and 44, which I just turned 44. When all this stuff happened to me in 2019, I was 40 years old. So when my experiences that I had in 1999, 2000, I would have been around the age of 22, going towards that age. So there's something hormonal that happens in the body as well. And it explains why this would happen at different times for different people.
Shaman Michelle Espinosa
It comes in waves.
says, noises or things going on in the body. She's like, the right ear is outgoing and action over the physical growth of the being, told and or given frequencies of the physical growth, being given actual physical action, steps, something to go out and do, possibly. She said left ear is the action of over spirituality and information and frequency, spiritual growth, and is not necessarily three-dimensional or physical reality. Dealing with intuition, trust of the divine wisdom, it is upgrading energies and relates to Gaia. I agree with that 100%. But I've never known about. Somebody said it was Morgan. Morgan said the left ear, her left ear is incoming frequency, and the right ear is outgoing frequency. So I guess that would be a lot like if you were a metaphysical healer. Your pull hand is your left hand, and your push hand is your right hand. So I mean, I'm aware of that. You know what I'm saying? I've been aware of that for quite some time. So the positive, negative, left side, right side of the body, that makes sense. That does. It makes sense to me. Very
See,
interesting.
I'm actually left-handed. I'm left-handed, and what I used when before I moved, I've been in an apartment currently, but I was a homeowner for a while. I used to go out in my yard every morning, and I would meditate barefoot. And if you look at your hands, the palms of your hands and your feet, you'll notice this glitter. They're crystals in your hands and feet. And I was told through downloads and such that the left, you're pulling. You can face your hands up to the sun, close your eyes, and pray or request information or for healing energy to come through to your body, and that the left would receive it and the right is outgoing. And so that was very interesting information that came through.
Miss Tammy says,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
it's the the comment. It's the same concept when people say if your left hand itches, you'll receive money, and if your right hand itches, you're going to spend money. I guess.
Oh.
I have to laugh at that comment because I don't have no money at all. I'm like fucking broke.
Yeah.
Mr.
Well, maybe this will help. So, do you want to know about the lawsuits?
I do. Let me crank out one more comment here. Mr. Christopher Peebles, who's a channeler. He is a channeler, so I want to get this out to you. He says each side of your body is polarized. Yes. One is not as a problem is negative polar. One is not as, I don't know, he says problem is negative polarized positive. That's the heart center, and it has to be balanced on two polarities for the body to have an energetic homeostasis. Can you say that in English, bro?
Yeah.
Right. All right, yes. Tell me about lawsuit. Tell me about what's going on.
So, as I was researching more about this MTHFR gene that I pick up on a lot of people I know and come across have. There's something to that. Recently, now people with this gene, it's been proven that there's a sensitivity to a chemical called glyphosate. Glyphosate was in Roundup pesticides, and it's been being sprayed on our food since 1974. Again, I was born in 1979. I was very thin. Of course, I had my near-death experience as a baby. I'm assuming it was linked to the formula that my mother was feeding me. Glyphosate's three main crops that they spray the food on which foods they spray the chemical on, are corn, wheat, and soy. Okay. People with this gene have an issue processing glyphosate. They've found this in studies. There's a few different things that can be done to protect yourself. Animals as well. Okay, when you think about this, what's in pet food? Corn. There's usually a lot of corn in pet food. So what's been found that will neutralize glyphosate is taking fulvic acid and chlorella. Taking those two things. I had a paranormal experience involving the word fog. This was in 2020. I was told I was at the grocery store with my husband, and we're in the butter aisle. I remember I was standing next to the butter.
Okay.
And my husband likes to write, draw anarchy signs and things in the fog on the freezer door. He was over by the pies section, and the doughs and stuff like that. He had opened the door and he wrote, an expletive, and I was like, hey, what are you writing over there? There's little kids at the store, But he wrote F. And then as I was reading it out, I was like, what'd you say? I was like, Antifa. I didn't say Antifa. I said Antifa, and immediately it clicked. I was like, fa. Fa, is a note. It's a musical note, but it's also linked to the color green. And I immediately knew that the 144,000 frequency would be available for all of mankind when the green light would appear. There would be green light. So for the last few years, myself and many others online have taken photos of our crown photos in the sunlight. And there's different patterns that appear, different colors. And mine is mainly, I'm what's known as a violet flame keeper. You have a, do what?
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I'm trying to.
Oh, I can hear something in the background.
I'm clicking. I'm clicking my mouse because I'm about to show. I brought those images back up because I want to go through them with you.
Oh, the photos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the photos.
All right.
But yeah, so let me
do
the
that.
violet flame. I'm a violet flame keeper, and you have people that are also blue flame keepers. And this is all about. This all has to do with the 144,000 frequency transmission and reception of it. So I'm standing on this aisle. I see, him write this, and it comes to me. Oh my God! Like there's going to be something that involves the green light. Well, in the last year or so, we've been seeing green light appearing in auric fields. Around the summer solstice, the Schumann resonance did something it had never done before. It was making these brilliant patterns, and this green light appeared. So I knew it was here. So there's something to do with that, with this frequency, how we receive it, how we receive this information that is meant for us, and it's here.
No, that's what.
It's interesting because the fulvic acid, the FA, I found out this gene, folic acid, is horrible for people with this gene. A lot of people they put it in prenatal vitamins and stuff, right?
Right.
We should, if someone has this gene, they need to stay away from folic acid. They need to take fulvic acid.
They take.
So there again, it's a Hegelian dialectic, something sticking out that needs to be paid attention to there with the FA, right?
Right.
And we all remember Antifa, how they acted, right? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This process involves free radicals, okay, in the body. You look at those individuals, you had people that were white people, mad at white people, that were radical, but you could see in their eyes something was off, There's something to that in a way that the collective is being communicated with here about things.
The lights are on, but nobody's home in in that camp.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, there was something going on with them.
Andy Cassidy's going to bed. He's not going to be able to call. Damn it. I wanted him to talk to you. I wanted him to tell you and share his wonderful story. I truly did. And now his old ass is going to bed. Andy Cassidy, you old Sasquatch. Damn it.
Tell him to message me, and we could talk later if you want, or we could do another show.
Right? You are always welcome to call here. You are always welcome to participate with this tribe of people. I'm serious, man. You fit right into this category, you do. Now I just showed two pictures of you, one of you and Robert, and then one of you in the house there, and the sun coming through the back bay window, and these amazing little lily-looking, leaf-looking pic of sun. You'll have to go back and see it. But I did. Mm-hmm. I shared them photos. I want to try to go through. Is there any specific photos that you want me to share with everybody?
Well, there were some those pictures. They were just some references of like the corona. It talks in the Bible about us receiving our crown in the end of days, and so that a lot when I had that experience in 2019, and all those people that were friend requesting me, they were also taking photos in the light, pictures of their crowns, and And there's the other. I'll use the word corona. I won't use the other word because of what it means and what I know about. In reverse, it means to be possessed. And there was a movie in 2012 called The Possession, and they use that word quite a bit in the film. But yeah, I won't use that word. But yeah,
The one I'm
corona.
looking at,
Yeah, it talks about us receiving our crown.
again, this picture I'm looking at is absolutely just gorgeous. It is the sun right above your crown chakra, just as brilliantly bright as it possibly could be. And these leaves, it looks like, around your head. It's just amazing. And they're pink, violet. That's just a beautiful picture, man.
There's blue as well, but when outside it wasn't showing up. I do have friends that blue is more prominent in theirs. I have all three colors of the blue, the gold, and the magenta. And my understanding with it has something to do with magnetism. Like the magenta is like more magnetic. So it explains why this stuff happens to me. It just kind of comes to me.
Right.
Where some individuals are sending. I send and receive, but some people just send. I'm a receiver and a sender.
Okay.
And so, yeah. Recently, I don't know if the Schumann resonance had what looked like pine trees appeared, and there is these chemicals, these terpenes called alpha pinene and beta pinene. And I knew that this was highly important for everyone right now in the healing process. Alpha pinene and beta pinene, that there's these terpenes. Also, there's one called limonene. And there's something about the cleaners that our mothers used growing up, like there's either pine scented or a citrus scent, right?
Right.
There's something about those chemicals for individuals, that you could tell you which terpene your family probably needs. Terpenes can be found in marijuana, but in many other things as well. So there's something here, on this level of information coming through that will help bring cures to certain ailments. The animals, definitely, it's safe to give them chlorella. And I would suggest, if you have an animal that's got mucus or any health issues right now, a lot of animals have been sick over the last few years because of the incoming radiation is coming in. It's purging DNA and activating their DNA as well. But yeah, the chlorella.
Mine are just fat. We've got some fat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got a cat that's called Izzy, and she was fat whenever we got her, and she is so damn fat. Every time that cat goes outside, she goes outside whenever I go outside to smoke, and then whenever I come back on, she always stops at the damn food bowl. I know what her fucking problem is. It is not sun radiation. It is because every single time that I go outside, she comes back in and she eats. I'm like, just scoot your little ass on down the road there. She don't. I swear to you, if I was to leave out the house, if I was to go out of the house 20 times and come back in 20 times, she would eat 20 times a day. It's like it's
every single time.
Oh my god, dude, she's huge. This cat is absolutely fucking huge. It's not radiation. It is her having a problem. She's got an eating disorder. My wife, Melissa says she eats her feelings. She says, she says she eats her feelings.
She's an emotional eater.
Izzy's an emotional eater. Oh shit!
I didn't tell you about the lawsuits. The lawsuits.
You were trying. You were getting there.
So as I'm researching this stuff, so okay, this is the interesting thing here. They've discovered that glyphosate affects people with this gene, and that should stay away from it. Stay away from foods that have it. Like I bought glyphosate-free flour recently. I'm going to make all my bread products glyphosate-free. You know, I've done a complete overhaul of my kitchen, and I'm on this journey now to heal my family, you know, by eliminating as much glyphosate stuff, you know, that I can.
Right.
So there's lawsuits that have been settled, by the way, already about glyphosate with the Roundup case. They pulled the Roundup that was on the shelves to be bought by just a person walking into a store. From my understanding, they took it off and reformulated it, put it back on shelves. But this is the thing. They haven't done anything about the stuff being sprayed on our crops in the United States. So, you know, I'm looking into things about that. Aaron Brockovich type of situation, if you know what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah, you hear me in there? Yeah.
Yeah, we
but
feel
there
you.
are some there are people that if they've had certain ailments, they have this disease, or people in their family, they may want to get tested for this gene, because if so, the payouts are averaging anywhere between $500,000 to $250,000 right now. So if you've lost someone in your family, and you know you think you may have this gene, it would be wise to look into it. The diseases that are listed linked to it and the issues with glyphosate are diabetes, heart issues, gallbladder issues, and schizophrenia. Again, if someone is choline deficient, they may seem as if they're having schizophrenic issues. So,
Holy shit.
if you're interested in, if you're interested, and again, it's metal toxicity, by the way. We know that fulvic acid and chlorella can help remove this toxin from the body. Very important to do. Fulvic acid, chlorella. Okay?
Right.
Safe for animals, safe for humans. Number two, they have done recently, many nonverbal autistic individuals have been being treated with a chemical called zeolite. Zeolite can cross the blood-brain barrier and remove soft metals from the brain. They've been giving this to people that can't talk, that are autistic, and within 24 hours they're speaking.
Wait a minute. This is called
So,
ZEO-lite?
Zeolite. It's ZEOLITE.
VEOLITE? Violite?
Light, like seeing the light.
I got it spelled LITE.
Zeolite tincture.
Keep your...
And it has fulvic minerals in it. So anybody that may have been damaged by an injection of soft metals, if they wanted to remove it from the body, would use fulvic minerals or zeolite.
This is a mineral? I'm looking.
There's a company that makes the minerals.
It's zeolite. Zeolite.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I was getting the spelling wrong. Imagine that, right? You guys have fucking seen the memes I release. Angela Pritchard coming at you, baby. Zeolite. Right below Angela Pritchard's comment. So, zeolite is the family. What is it? Zeolite is a family of several micro something or other. Crystalline. Yeah, I don't even understand this. Come on, bring it to me. Matthew, is Izzy in the house? Izzy's in the house. Bring that fat ass little cat over here. You guys have got, just in case you think I'm playing, I'm gonna just have my son bring over Izzy. You guys have got to see this fucking cat. But okay, back to this mineral right real quick. I just dropped a link of it, of what it is, in the broadcast chat. So what she's talking about is in the chat. January. There's an update on a wiki. Let me go to this wiki real quick, or let's just like do this. Let me, if you don't mind, can I say benefits? Zeolite mineral benefits. Again, it doesn't really say anything. All right, so here we've got something. Supplements. Let me go over to the. Hang tight with me, Michelle. Don't go nowhere, my friend. Hang on.
I'm not going nowhere.
Okay. So this is a website called supplements.selfdecode.com. It says 12 stunning zeolite benefits plus uses, reviews, and side effects. Let me drop that. Let me drop that one too. You guys know me. I'm just gonna share this fucking shit with you. Just that's why we're here, right? So I'm scrolling out through here. I ain't gonna be able to see shit. I hope this stuff helps your eyeballs. I'm just kidding. What if there? Okay, this says. Check this out. This says. What if there was a magic powder that purifies the water, enriches the soil, and it removes nuclear waste? What if the stain powder could detox your body, boost your gut health, prevent free radical damage, fight infections, and more? It says, well, zeolite might just do all of that, but the clinical evidence, of course, here we go, remains limited. It says, read on to learn more about this zeolite. This is absolutely amazing shit that you just run across here.
Yeah.
Michelle, I'm serious. Zeolite is a common name for over 240 unique structures or framework, which is plus 40 inaccurate or occurs in nature. The most common type of zeolite includes